Hey everybody, Alex Miller here. I have some just random commentary on current events today as I see in my LinkedIn news panel that Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos fame is finally going to jail. I had to weigh in with some meta commentary I feel pretty strongly about. That's commentary on other people's commentary. I feel like there's a very strong impulse to turn these kinds of things, convicted or not, going to jail or not, into general referendums on people's character. And I have some other examples from famous white collar crime adventures to compare this to in a minute. I think these things are really interesting. These people that get into this kind of trouble are very often interesting characters. So I don't blame people for being fascinated with them, but yeah, I don't really think we should be thinking so much about if she's a good or bad person because we're never going to know, and that's not really what's happening here. She probably committed wire fraud. I think that was established pretty vigorously. She's not going to jail because she lied about blood testing so much as she lied to people about financial numbers to get them to invest, and that is a pretty cut and dried crime, which I think they pretty convincingly argued in court that she had committed. There's two narratives out there, one that she's this raging inhuman psychopath, and the other that she's just kind of this nice person that got caught up in this stuff and she's being made an example of. I'm open to this idea that this Sunny Balwani guy was really the mastermind. I read the book. I tried to. I have some real information here. I'm saying these things based on, but I just don't know that it's legally important because she definitely committed wire fraud. So she's got to go to jail. And maybe it's good to have some room here. When she gets out, hopefully she can get reintegrated to society. I don't know if it really helps either way. If she's a terrible person and she's floating around and everyone thinks she's a terrible person, can't get a job when she gets out, I don't know if that's helpful. And at the same time, maybe if she was really caught up in everything, it would be kind of moral tragedy to, treat her like a pariah for all eternity. So, once again, she didn't have a day in court about her whole character. She was in court to, answer accusations. She lied to people to get them to invest, and she certainly did. This is kind of a pattern. So some of you might remember the Fire Festival debacle a number of years ago. If you like scams and business disasters, that's a great one actually. But I recall it's a very similar story when I was reading about it a few years ago, where people looked at that fellow going to jail through the lens of, oh, he's like a good or a bad person, or he was a good or a bad person hosting this festival. He's in trouble because the festival doesn't go well. He lied to people quite directly to say he had a lot of collateral backing up their investment, and he didn't have that collateral, and that's pretty cut and dried wire fraud. And that's just the end of the story. Committed a specific crime on the journey. It's not about if the person is a good or a bad person. So people are going to keep doing what they're doing. It's fun. I'm fascinated with these characters too. I think it's good to take a step back though and remember that this is not a total judgment. It's not the end of time, the apocalypse. We know everything about them. We get to wholesale judge them. It's a much more tactical thing about, lying to get people's money. I encourage everybody to look at it a little more like that.